From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
For those of you who've just come in, welcome to the Mystery and Fiction Tent. My name is Maureen Corrigan, and I'm a regular reviewer for the Washington Post and the book critic for the NPR program Fresh Air. Thank you. The Washington Post has been a sponsor of the National Book Festival since it began 10 years ago. It is my great pleasure to be able to introduce to you one of the great names of mystery fiction, Martha Grimes. Yes. I think one of the highest compliments I can tell you about that's been paid to Martha Grimes is that even the British adore her. And I think that the British in general kind of take a dim view to us Americans stepping on their literary turf, especially when that literary turf is the mystery novel. But Martha Grimes' novels managed to capture the odd eccentricity of England without committing that greatest crime in literature of being cute. Her 20 Richard Jury novels are set in England. Imagine dampness, coolness, green pastures, a landscape very different from the landscape that you're in today. They also, all of them take their titles from the titles of quaint English pubs. Her newest novel is called The Black Cat, which of course has an Edgar Allan Poe echo to it. And without further ado, I will introduce to you Martha Grimes.
Well, thank you very much. And I'm very glad to be here. And I was reminded just a few minutes ago by my PR person, who is also my son, of the event in Chicago, the Boucheron. I learned how to say it before I went, but now it's all over, so I've forgotten how to pronounce it. And there was a similar setup where you had an escort who would, take you to the room in which you were giving talk. And we were standing at the door while this other writer was speaking. And I saw, oh boy, it is Dennis Lehane, who I personally love. I love his books. So I was standing there waiting to go in, and his talk came to an end, and Dennis Lehane walked out with his, looked like two handlers to me rather than escorts. He walked out, and when he walked out, there was thunderous applause. It was one of these long, narrow rooms, something like this, but not as big, and huge applause. So I walked in, and everybody got up and walked out. And I was watching. But then I figured they're just saying to themselves, what the hell, we're inside a tent, we might as well hang around. I was speaking a couple of days ago to a reporter about the National Book Festival. He asked if I had ever been to one before, one of these, sponsored by the Library of Congress, Laura Bush and people like that. And I said yes. I think I was in 2005 or 2006. And And he said, well, how does it compare with other festivals? I had nothing to say. I mean, other festivals. And he said, or large events. And all I thought, large event. I said, I really haven't been to any large events. Of course, I forgot the Boucheron, or however you pronounce it. And I thought, well, there's the National Book Award. I, however, have never graced. It has never seen me there. So festivals and large events, and I thought to myself, I wonder what sort of image people have of writers now. While I was talking to him, I was looking at the card, this really very nice logo, okay? So I was sort of fooling around with this card, and I was thinking to myself, oh, I guess this shows you how observant I am. I guess these are caricatures of the writers who are going to be there. And thinking that, of course, I started scanning it from my face. And then we come to who's the tree? I don't know who the tree is. And then I started looking. Wait a minute, Martha. These are famous writers. Or famous characters, rather. Famous characters. This is really a marvelous sort of logo. I hadn't even noticed that. I thought that these people back here were sort of kneeling over a kind of watermelon. And then I realized, hey, this is a chair. And there's a girl sitting, and oh, for God's sake, these are characters in books. And this is just about the imagination. So I thought we were talking about festivals and events, the sort of life the writer leads. I remember at one book signing, a reader in the line said, "Now, Mrs. Grimes, I have written a book, and I'd like to get some idea as to how I shape my career." And I said, "Career?" He said, "Yes, I want to know what to do about it." And I said, well, here I am, and I guess what I have is a career. You said you've written a book. Well, you just keep on writing books. And the sum and substance of this is going to be your career. You see me opening this book here. You think I'm going to read, but I'm not. I'm trying to sell it. And Mr. Spencer is a wonderful reader. I don't like following people like that and I'm a terrible reader. And besides, people think that if I'm reading from a jury book, I'm going to do it with a British accent. But this idea of the writer's life, I've sort of killed that one, I think. I was going to say something back there when we were talking about the logo, about imagination. In addition to the Richard Jury books, I also write for you people over there on the far left side who are not paying attention. You know what I've noticed about giving talks? At just about every talk, and I'm looking at the people here on the front row, I have found there's always one person who hates me. Now, there could be many more people who hate me, but they're far more polite. But the one who seems to hate me the most sits in the first row, front and center. And just, I think last week, I gave this talk over in Friendship Heights, where Neiman Marcus is. It wasn't in Neiman Marcus. I would have been happy to have it in Neiman Marcus or move across the street to Bloomingdale's. That would have been delightful. But there was a gentleman in the first row who clearly was not interested and who was there only by, I guess, default. But, so I like to, yeah, you ought to smile. I like to look over the first row. Oh, it's my son. So, imagination, there is this series of books besides the Richard Jury books. They're narrated by this 12-year-old girl, Emma Graham. And these books really are not mysteries. There is a mystery in them. They're not mysteries, and I'm tired of people sending me emails telling me that they're really lousy mysteries. And this is, if you like Emma Graham books, this is the next one. Well, I wasn't really looking for applause. It says advance uncorrected proof not for sale, but I figure you can either be 10 minutes of questions, we can have an auction. Anyway, the title of this book is Fadeaway Girl. And for anyone who is, I was going to say as old as I am, but that cuts out about 9/10 of the audience right there. Well, actually, even I'm not quite that old, but there was an illustrator, Coles Phillips, who did a series of these and magazine covers, The New Yorker, the Saturday Evening Post. I love this technique. As you can see, some of you can see from this one, the figure fades into the background. And he called this technique fadeaway. So that's the next book now to sell my backlist. The last book was The Black Cat, and I heard an applause. That's terrific. I remember when that comedian, what is his name? He's very, very funny, had Tom Hanks as his guest, and he introduced him as Tom Hank. I love that. So did Tom Hank. Tom liked it too. The Black Cat is the 22nd or something like that Richard Jury novel. And I'm currently writing another one. At the same time, I'm writing a book with my son on addiction. How about that? You didn't see that coming, did you? I remember a book signing I had in Florida where in the front, and again, it's the front row, is the place for this sort of thing. In the front row, a woman sat. This was in a Barnes & Noble, I think. And she raised her hand to ask a question, and she said, Miss Grimes, now, I have never read one of your books. Now, I always figure that right out of the gate, that's not what you say. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to say, I've read all of your books. Just don't say, I've never read one. You don't follow it up by saying, I'm with the prison system. And I work particularly in addiction, drug and alcohol abuse. Alcohol, of course, as we know, isn't a drug. Drug and alcohol abuse. And I just have a question. Now I notice all of your books are named after pubs. I said, yes, they are. And she said, I couldn't imagine where all this was going. And she said, well, my question is, was there any alcohol abuse in your family? I said, oh, yes, and you're looking at it. Can you imagine? I mean, I just love questions like that. Well, there's a lot more I could say. There's also a lot less. So, but I would like you to ask questions if you want to. It's usually the way it goes, no interest whatsoever. Yes. Scott Spencer rated microphones in the audience. I don't. I'm sorry, I didn't. Oh, the microphones are up here.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to know, you never finished telling us what the man in the front seat said to you. When you went to you always said to people in the front seat.
Oh, what about him?
Yeah.
You knew him. You know him.
It's probably my ex-husband. But I thought maybe he's made an odd remark to you. That's why I was asking. But I guess he didn't.
I guess not.
I guess so.
I'd like to ask you, I'm sorry, I'm over here to your right.
Oh, sorry.
We have a line here. You're a real pleasure. My question to you is, what's your process for writing? I mean, do you just write any place, anywhere, or do you have a special place that you write? Do you write in the middle of the night, or what's your process?
Well, my preferred place used to be in a pub. But now that avenue has been closed to me forever, I guess. No, the process, okay, number one, I don't wait for inspiration. I don't wait until I want to write. If that were the case, you all wouldn't be here today because you'd never have seen anything. I write in longhand, in notebooks, and I try and do this for 3 or 4 hours a day, in the morning if possible. Then I transcribe this onto a computer. And I have found, the reason I write in longhand doesn't have anything to do with, doesn't have anything to do with what I'm going to say. What I found was that when the computer eats your work, as it has been known to do, and it was sorry, I could go back to notebooks and find it. And that's really, that's really quite a boon. So I transcribe it on the computer, and that's sort of the process, if that's what you're talking about. The things I don't do, I don't have outlines, I don't have summaries, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what the plot is, I don't know any of that stuff. It's just sitting down and writing, and that's why I say to people who seem to think, a lot of people who haven't tried writing seem to think, I'm not the question time is not finished. Is that Peter Straub? That you really don't have to have anything in advance of just writing. I mean, just sitting down with a pen and a piece of paper. And some people find it very difficult to believe this, but it's true because that's the way I started writing, and I still do it that way. And it doesn't get any easier, I'd like to point out. All right, I just had a 10-minute card held up, which means I've been on for 10 minutes, so that means we got another 25. Yes, sir.
So with your alcohol abuse that you mentioned, have you had a pint in each of the pubs for which you've named your books?
What about the pub?
Have you had a pint in each of the pubs that you've named your books for?
Until lately. I have been in every pub, except for the Old Contemptibles, and there are a couple of others that were either logistically impossible to get to, but I've been in all of those pubs, yeah. The Moor and a Wink, and of course all of those pubs in London, which unfortunately, a couple of which have been changed and modernized and so forth. I mean, not the Five Bells and Bladebone, yeah. The Five Bells and Bladebone, which was a really great, grotty pub, now is what do they call it? It's got a special kind of designation. Gastropub. For a fern bar. I haven't been into one of those recently, Gastropub. But they have snakes. They have a boa constrictor, a pet boa constrictor. That's really taking it to another level, isn't it? Yeah. Yes,
Hi,
ma'am.
it's a real pleasure to be here, to see you here today.
Thank you.
I love all of your books. And you haven't said anything about your other series, and I'm dying to know what's going to happen after Dakota. Do you have anything in mind? Are you working on another?
Which series are you speaking of? Because there's more than one.
The books that the last one was Dakota.
Oh yeah.
I'm dying to know what happened to that young woman, so I'm hoping you're working on something.
Well, I certainly will be. I have an idea for the third one, but this young woman, Andy, for anyone who is interested in doing a complete literary critique of all of my books, I don't know if you've noticed, few have. Indeed, it came to me as a surprise. Andy is another. There was a book called The Deer Leap in which there was a character named Carrie Fleet. Andy is another Carrie Fleet. She's another Nell Ryan, the young woman in The Grave Maurice. And I have an idea that she also has something to do with that mysterious girl in the Emma Graham books. But to answer your question, absolutely, I intend to write another one. I mean, I keep turning books into series, and it's got something to do with not wanting to let the characters go. my publisher is dying for the sequel to Send by Graves. Look at that. You see, Send by Graves was a book of poems. Yes.
First of all, your book on addiction, and I appreciate that because I have been addicted to your books for absolutely decades now. And I'm pleased that you're going to do Fade Away because I've been waiting for another one for that series, so that's nice. And my question, though, is about the Richard Jury. During all of the books, I've tried to assess about how many years actually pass in the lives of the characters. And Carol Ann seems to get no older and no less presumptuous. So I wondered approximately how many years are passing in the course of the Richard Jury books.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't see me getting any older, do you?
Well, no, certainly not. And I saw you about 9 years ago. You don't look a bit older.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this is a very good question. Okay, let me point something out. Many of these books, indeed most of these books, one follows very closely after another. So the first book was published actually in 1981. Okay. In our time, it is now 2010. It is not 2010. Indeed, the millennium hasn't even come in book time. As far as the characters getting any older is concerned, no. I mean, you know, really, why should that be? Why should they? But this, I would say that right now we're kind of we're in the 90s, the 1990s in these books. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good question. Yes.
Hi. Well, as much as I look forward to your books and your stories, I look forward to your characters even more. I can just see them sitting around the pub, Melrose and all the other characters. My question is, are they based on real people that you know or your imagination?
Oh, how I wish they were. Consciously, none of the characters is based on anyone I know.
Even Melrose's aunt.
Even Melrose.
His aunt.
Oh, Agatha.
There you go.
Consciously, no.
Okay.
There's always an Agatha, isn't there? Okay, 2 minutes. That gives us 31 minutes to go. Any other questions?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
This side. Oh, I'm sorry. Hi, I just want to say it's a pleasure. I was on bed rest with my second child for 30 weeks, and I started with the first jury novel and went up until, I think, the 19th one, and read those in the 30 weeks I was on bed rest. So thank you for getting me through that.
You're welcome.
My question is, when you finish one, do you know what's going to happen in the next, kind of have an idea of what's going to be going on in the next, or is it just you finish one and then you don't have any idea what's coming up?
I don't even know what's going on in the one I'm writing. So any future projection is, that's not completely true. Occasionally my mind will dart out to something or other. That's about as vague as you can get. I'll tell you one thing, although I said, you know, I don't wait for inspiration before I write, a lot of inspiration comes from the actual names of pubs. Like the Richard Jury book I'm trying to work on at the moment, it's purely on the basis of the pub name. For some reason, the names have some kind of emotional weight that I don't really understand. So some of these names I regard as irresistible. I mean, I am the only running footman. I mean, how could you think of better titles? Although people can't remember the titles, which is definitely a negative, but why am I here wondering what to say next? Did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Hello? How?
We're into overtime.
All right.
The Redskins might like it. I don't know that.
Right. Not
Right.
last week. You do so well with the verbiage coming out of the Cockney or whatever English. How long do you spend in England each year, or did you just live there sometime and now know how to speak?
I don't really know how to speak it. I sort of absorb the speech patterns, I guess. The longest I was in England, I guess, was about, 4 months, 5 months in England. And for the most part, it's visiting every year for a relatively short period of time. For some reason, I just sort of, I'm really just a sponge. I mean, I'm able to absorb this when I can't absorb anything else, except what I have already been cut off from. Anything else? All right, good for you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I usually like to say that if it weren't for you all sitting out there, I would not be standing up here. So I think the thanks goes in the other direction. Thank you.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.